I mean, it's so incredible to say that after 13 years, India can call itself world champions again. Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Wicket. I'm your host Dipanjan. I've got Naman and Swapnil with me, and we are back after a historic event. On 29th June, India became world champions again. I think it was long time coming. After 11 long years, India won an ICC event after reaching numerous finals and semi-finals. So, guys, what are your feelings? What are your thoughts? Where were you, first of all, when this happened? Where were you watching the match?
Yes, finally, India won. Finally. To be fair, I wasn't expecting before the start of the tournament as India to be favorites, and I wasn't expecting much because the moment you expect more and the results don't go into your favor, then that's when you feel quite heartbroken.
Mm,
That's what we felt in 2023, right? When
yeah.
India were clearly the favorites, but that didn't happen. So in this tournament, even in the finals, I wasn't expecting anything. Just wanted to be a good game, and indeed it was, even from a neutral perspective. Coming back to where I was playing a cricket game on Saturday. I was in some other town, but
Hmm.
luckily the club had the projector, so I was watching the match over there.
Yeah, what um dedication, man. Hats
Yeah,
off.
True that. Yeah, I was at home, enjoy watching tense cricket matches alone with a
Yeah.
selective members of my family because I like to watch it closely, hear things. So I was at home, and what a great moment. The moment we were waiting for
Mm,
11 years, and it was a proper fairy tale ending and a
yeah.
redemption for each and every player
Yeah, yeah.
associated. Like
True
truly
that.
remarkable.
True that. I was watching the match from the sports bar in Marylebone in London. Okay. Marylebone is where Lords is. Okay. And Marylebone is very posh, right? And I walk into this bar and there are dolls playing. And for me it was a
लंदन
very
था
different
या
experience.
लुधियाना?
For those few hours it turned into Ludhiana. Okay. And it was a sea of blue in there, and there were two people supporting South Africa. There was just one couple, South African couple. They were supporting South Africa. They came in jerseys. Otherwise, it was a sea of blue. And for me, it was a very different experience because, again, like I prefer watching like these tense matches alone, or at least with friends and with a close bunch. I like listening to the commentary, what's happening, what the conditions are like, and I want those insights and all. This time it was very different. It was a full on in that sort of is the closest thing to watching the match live, I'd say, with a large audience there, and you can't hear commentary and you can hear cheers for every single run, cheers for every single dot ball when India was bowling. So a very different experience, but yeah, quite a memorable one. And I mean, there was absolute scenes after India won. I mean, people went nuts, and I'm people. But yeah, I mean, what an amazing tournament. We'll come to the nitty gritties, but yeah, I mean, redemption for so many players, and so many had tears in their eyes. Like so many players had tears in their eyes, and each one for a different reason. If you think about it, it's not just the World Cup victory, which of course it is after such a long wait, and after so many failed attempts and so like such close calls. But if you look at it, like each one had tears and each one was emotional for their own reason. It was such a beautiful culmination to a story. It had everything. It now this deserves the test kind of documentary for it.
Yeah, and everyone completed their part of the story.
Yeah. Yeah. This is like the perfect series ending, right? For me, the perfect series is Breaking Bad. Where you see each character has a story, has a character arc, and it
Mm.
comes to an ending. Like everyone has an ending to their story. So this is exactly like that. But I will come to it later on. But yeah, so let's start from the top. right? So I think like the I'll like to say like the management played a big role in this, but especially with Rahul Dravid, I think that he was that perfect balance of a coach and a man manager, someone that you need heading the Indian cricket team, because it's a team of superstars, like mega superstars, right? And you need to command respect in that dressing room, but also not step on anyone's toes, because there are big players, big egos in there. Not saying anyone's egoistical, but there are big players in there. So you don't want to sort of mess with their plans and their sort of mind space, but at the same time steer them in the direction. And Rahul Dravid played that role perfectly. Like he commanded respect. At the same time, he created the plans and everyone played their part. Like he created roles for everyone and everyone stuck to it right till the end.
Yeah.
Like none better personified than Virat Kohli, for example. His role was, of course, in the start, he was effectively playing in place of Jaiswal, right? Because before the World Cup, we thought Jaiswal would open, he would bat at 3. And along with Rohit, you needed an aggressor who could go and start hitting from ball 1. He tried that throughout the tournament, didn't come off, and he stuck to it. The intent was there. He stuck to his plans, and of course, it came off in the final. But that management played a massive role, because if you see, they kept the top 4 intact throughout, right? They promoted Akshar against Pakistan, and again in the finals as well. Paid off dividends massively. They promoted Jadeja versus England in the semis. Again, Dubé in the final, because in some matches Dubé would come in at number 7. So number 5, 6, 7, 8 was flexible throughout the tournament, and each of them were promoted depending on the situation. While they kept the top 4 intact, they gave them role clarity. Each one has a role, so everyone had a clear plan in their mind every time they went on to bat. So I think the management have outdone themselves. I think this is something that won't be talked about. Like everyone talks about the players, but the role that Rahul Dravid and his team played, I think it was phenomenal. And it's also the class of 96, right?
Yeah.
Because there's Rahul Dravid, Vikram Rathore, and Paras Mamre. Everyone made their debut in 96. Another key member, of course, we don't talk about Vikram Rathore and Paras Mamre in the class of 96, but another member is Saurav Ganguly, who played a key role in bringing Dravid to the
Dravid,
Indian
yeah.
team setup, because he did not want to become India coach for the longest time. Because he wanted to
Yeah,
spend time with his family.
he
He
did
was
some
content
convincing
being,
from the
yeah,
BCCI and
yeah.
especially Ganguly.
Yeah. So he said, I'm happy, being at NCA and being in Bangalore, spending time with the family. And Ganguly played a massive role in bringing him to the Indian setup. And now to see the class of 96 finally get their redemption here, have a beautiful end to their stories. And Rahul Dravid, like someone who has done so much for the Indian team, like right from a player, then a captain, then heading the under 19 team and giving so many future superstars, grooming them, and finally becoming the coach and making India the world champions again.
Fairy tale ending for Rahul Dravid was back in 2007 when you come to this West Indian setup. You know that you have lost it somewhere. I'm pretty sure you have some flashbacks,
Yeah.
because at that time
Yeah.
Indian team was quite strong for the ODI World Cup, and you lost it in the group stages, and then coming back here again now to finally, being the world champions.
Yeah.
Ironically, Dravid having an ICC medal for a T20 setup, not for a 50 overs. Quite ironic, right?
Yeah. There's also more significance to this. He was part of the team that got 81 all out in Barbados, 1997, if I'm not mistaken. Right. And that, of course, like we read about it as when we grew up, but that had a massive implication on the future teams that were selected. And
Yes.
again, in West Indies 2007 World Cup, where India had that unceremonious exit from group stages, Rahul Dravid was the captain, and it was a team of absolute superstars in their peak. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone thought, okay, 2003 we were in the finals, and this time we're destined for greatness. Like this is ours for taking. And to exit from group stage, that was heartbreaking, and all the players were scared for their lives to come back to India. Like players' houses were pelted with stones, like Dhoni's and Sachin's,
I think
Yuvraj Singh and
most of the players,
yeah,
not just a
yeah,
few.
most of the players like Yuvraj Singh and Harbhajan Singh said it in an interview. Like they went to London instead of coming to India because they were scared what would happen, at the airports as well. Like people were livid. People were burning effigies and posters of Dravid in the streets, man. And for him, again, he missed out on the 2011 World Cup. He wasn't the part of the team. And for him to come back and, failed captain, a sort of failed captain, who people were, burning posters in the streets, from there to come back as a coach and win the World Cup for India. I think he created his own Kabir Khan
Chak De India story.
character arc from Chak De.
But only difference was in this tournament, India didn't even lost a single game. They won all the games.
Yeah, India were undefeated. We're the invincibles, man.
Yeah.
Even South Africa before the finals. Like,
Yeah.
our
Both
teams,
both the teams
putting
are
up medal
undefeated.
list, being undefeated. It's not very often that you see that, right?
True
in a
that.
cricket tournament.
Like
So,
everything fell in place for India this time. The small moments, be it Mitchell Marsh's catch, which Axar Patel took, or the Surya Kumar catch with of David Miller, or
Yes.
some knocks by
That
each.
catch.
Yeah, these moments went our way, which not often we grab. So that was the difference eventually, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean that catch is something that we'll talk about for generations to come. I think I saw this beautiful post that
I know what you're trying to
it was,
say.
it was done by probably a very young guy, that he said my grandfather told my father about the Kapil Dev catch in the 83 World Cup. My father told me about the Srishant catch in the 2007 T20 World Cup, and I'll tell my son about the Surya catch against South Africa in this final. I think that sort of beautifully captures the whole emotion of it.
Yeah.
And honestly, man, to think about it, like I'll I'll tell my children about how India, specifically Bumrah, Hardik, and Arshdeep, pulled off a win from a situation where Klaasen and Miller are batting, and they need 27 from 28 balls. That is insane.
Yeah.
Like every logic dictates that we shouldn't win from this point onwards. South Africa had a win probability of 97%. And from there on, Bumrah, Hardik, and Arshdeep, of course, they pulled off that great heist. And I mean, there is no other parallels that we can draw from there. This was absolutely insane. It's for a lack of a
Absolutely.
better word.
Absolutely.
And, and at that point, Klaasen reached his 50s. So he was, all set to bring it home. If you see, I think Rohit said it after the game, or Hardik, that they're always trying to get the South African batters to hit against the wind. Dinesh Karthik said it in one of the matches when he was doing the commentary, that when you're playing in the Caribbean, it's like the wind is your enemy or your friend, depends on how you use it. If you see, like when Hardik came on bowling to Klaasen, he again like instantly went sort of wide Yorkers and like wide slower ones, even though Klaasen is very strong on the offside. So
Yeah.
they are trying to get him to hit against the wind, and luckily we got the nick and he was out.
Actually, fair play to Rishabh Pant as well. In a way that there was this delay of 5 minutes plus, which got the momentum slow. That they were cruising in. They were cruising in, and that little halt ensure that there's some break, and then the momentum kindly shifted, and then that off cutter that Hardik bowled was good enough for us to get that wicket, and that changed the game.
Yeah. You talked about how India studied the wind and everything. Ashwin, Ravichandran Ashwin on his YouTube channel just told that Dravid is a lot of a data person, data guy. So before the World Cup, India had hired a data cricket analyst from US to study about the drift, wind, and everything, the dimensions.
Oh,
So
wow.
that eventually helped India, you can say.
Still trust Rahul Dravid to focus on and practicality, right? Focus on data. Yeah, go on.
Also, like due to like the study, we kind of used matchups well in the middle overs, like promoting Akshar Patel, denying Keshav Maharaj and Shamsi to complete their quota of overs. So,
Yeah.
had that been other case, had Pandya been promoted ahead of Akshar at that stage, Maharaj could have slipped in his full quota of overs silently. We never know.
I think they, as I said earlier, like they shuffled their middle order excellently throughout
Yeah,
the tournament. And three left-handers in 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that sort of gave us a lot of room for experimentation, and each one with a different skill set.
absolutely.
Finally, Kohli, a big match player, rising to the big occasion.
What else can you expect? Like the team is 30 odd for three. Who other than him would step for
Yeah,
Team India? And
yeah,
that too when his position was doubted and what was his eventually the last match.
yeah. Yeah, I
Like
think we talked
no,
about it in previous episodes that this is Kohli's gambit. Like you have in chess, you have Queen's Gambit in chess. In cricket, we have Kohli's Gambit. When it's a difficult situation, difficult pitch, difficult conditions, in a big match, wickets are down. You are solely relying on Kohli to see you through. This is where he shines. And he was having a difficult tournament, so many questions about him. And even if he didn't say that it was his last T20 game or T20 World Cup, it was kind of evident that things would change after the World Cup, which usually happens, like it's a new cycle. So he knew this was his last chance, like this is do or die. And something about big occasion, right? Like this is where you separate good players from the absolute legends of the game. Like their body and mind are in complete sync.
he like when he entered the ground, Rohit was at the striker's end. He was waiting at the non-striker's end. He was
Mm,
uh he was saying something before the game. He was on
yeah,
his knees and like whatever it
yeah.
was, he was saying something.
Mm. Yeah, I think he took a moment for himself. He was sort of calming himself down. I think from that point onwards, right? Like I still have goosebumps thinking about it. I thought about, okay, this is maybe there's something special loading here, because we were hoping for a great performance, because it was long time coming and it was
Yeah,
long overdue. And if at any game you need the greatest batter of the generation to step up, it's the final. And even Rohit said it in the last match. And after the match, he said, maybe he's saving it for the finals. And also Rahul Dravid, they did this preview before the final, and Rahul Dravid said that the intent has always been there. He's doing great. It's just when you play a high risk brand of cricket, sometimes doesn't come off. But he said, I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like there's something special coming up,
yeah,
and something special it did.
And it
yeah,
It's
was,
just tailor
I
made for him.
find it was a typical Kohli innings where he got to a good start. I think he hit 3 fours in his first over,
yes,
and then things slowed down a bit, but he was still going on for ones and twos, some fours. I think
Mm.
perhaps this has to be one of his slowest 50s or one of
yeah,
his
Yeah,
it
slowest
has
was.
to
40s,
be. It was
48 balls. But it's
48
just
ball
that,
50. Yeah.
he was there almost till the end. And
Mm.
after 50, scoring those 26 runs,
Yeah.
which made sure that India scored 40 plus runs in the last 3 overs. And
Yeah,
175 runs on a
Yeah.
final, any day you'll take it. Any day
and
you
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
take it.
Surya
Keeping in
Kumar,
mind India's bowling, you will take that.
Mm. Yeah. Absolutely.
whenever
Yeah.
he scores a straight drive boundary, you know something is brewing.
Yeah. It's when you know that like, again, a player's body and mind are in complete sync. It's one of the hardest shots in the book. Like your balance needs to be perfect, your follow through needs to be perfect, and when someone does that, they are in that game. And then Justin Langer said it in this test documentary that Virat Kohli, I saw Virat Kohli getting off the mark with the on drive. He said, "Man, you're a freak of nature because that's the hardest shot in the book." And I only saw Ricky Ponting play that, and after that, I saw Virat Kohli like getting off the mark with an on drive. Like you don't do that. You sort of nick it around and try to get a single and get off the mark.
True that.
But
So
but the thing is, yeah,
it's still very
go on.
hard to like it's not yet sunk in that he is not a T20. He will not play another T20 international for India, because for every time you watch him bat, it feels like life feels normal. And to not see him again in the T20I shirt is something. But yeah, it's time for new
Yeah.
generation now.
And I think somewhere if you ask Kohli his top 5 or top 3 innings of his life, definitely out of the 3, 2 innings has to be from the T20Is. One is against Australia at Mohali in 2016,
Yeah.
and another one against 80 odd runs that he scored against Pakistan in the 2022 World Cup. And he almost had average of 50 plus for the longest period of time in T20I. There's a big
And
thing.
he was
Yeah.
number 1 T20I international batter for 1,000 days.
Yeah.
And in a format that is very difficult to be consistent, being in that place for 1,000 days is not at all a joke.
Yeah. If you see his numbers as well, right? Like none of the players in top 10 or top 15 has even remotely close to 40. Like his is 48. Like that just shows you the consistency. And he also has
And
the
it's
highest
not,
number of not outs in top 10 or top 15 run scorers in T20I history.
and speaking of the average, it doesn't mean that he's being a selfish player. He's only playing for himself. He has made sure that, whenever he's there
Yeah.
not out, most of the times India is winning it.
But the thing is, even in this match, so I was heading to the sports bar to watch the match, and while I was working, I was missing a few overs here and there. I was watching it on my phone, and sometimes there are network issues while I was on the tube. So I was just checking the scores, and I'm seeing, okay, shit, we're losing quick wickets. 3 wickets are down, but just to see that Virat Kohli is there, that gives you a confidence, like a warm feeling. Okay, we're still in it. And the moment I reached there, I checked, is Virat still batting? Because he is batting, that we're still in it. It's that feeling, man. Like, doesn't matter if he's out of form, if he's 40, if he was 40 at this point, if Virat is there, you get that confidence. And Virat Kohli's T20 approach was never a problem, like the way it was portrayed. He always played a sensible innings and then accelerated when he is set, the bowlers are under pressure. That's when he accelerated, and that has always worked. Even in the finals, he just that last one didn't come off. He tried that Haris Rauf kind of shot over long on, back foot sort of pull towards long on. It just didn't come off. But even there, you see, like he was starting to accelerate. And the fact that even after 16 years, India still relying on Virat Kohli in finals, that's an incredible feat. And he has done that throughout his career. And doesn't matter what format. The fact that he's there and he stepped up on most occasions. And more often than not, he's there. And the fact that everyone still relies on him in the big occasions. This time, good thing was a lot of players stepped up. Rohit Sharma, good for him. There were so many questions about Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli being in this team. A lot of experts said that they shouldn't be even in the squad for T20 World Cup. And the fact that it's these two players, these two veterans of the game, these two mammoths of um, Indian team, and perhaps two of the greatest white ball players India will ever produce. Rohit Sharma leading the run charts for India, second highest run scorer, and Virat Kohli stepping up in the final when it was needed the most. And but yeah, the fact that it's still the old guard that's seeing India through, I think that was the story of this World Cup.
Yeah.
And somewhere, it was truly a team performance. Like this campaign, you are not relying
Yeah.
on a single player. Kohli not delivering till the finals or before the final, you're still winning it. That shows the class of this team.
Yeah, and I think that itself would be called as an achievement if we look at the past performances. Because if no Kohli, then no, we wouldn't be winning before this World Cup because it was all or nothing based on Kohli's form.
I think we were also doubting about Rohit Sharma, right? Before the Super 8 started. But Rohit Sharma also clicked just at the right time. And then he played that 92 against Australia. I don't think we would have won that game. And that was a crucial innings. When
Yeah.
you're seeing Kohli getting out or not, and then you're scoring 50 runs in 6 overs, 6 overs or whatever, where 52 out of 52 runs, 50 runs scored by Rohit Sharma. How
Yeah.
often do you see that? How often do you see Mitchell Starc getting hit for 29 runs in an over?
Yeah. I think that match against Australia, that Rohit innings was probably the finest Rohit Sharma innings I've seen in recent times. Like he's played better innings and more runs, of course, but just the way he was connecting the balls, he was toying with the bowlers, and playing with
Yeah,
against
absolutely.
Australia against the highest quality of bowlers, and the way he was towing them around, I haven't seen him bat like this in a long, long time.
And
It was a
without
joy
breaking
to
a
watch.
sweat,
Yeah,
he was doing it with so ease, and that's the thing about Rohit Sharma.
yeah,
मतलब जब भी वो खेलता है, like he makes you stop everything and admire him कि
yeah.
यार
He
क्या
he he
talent
makes
है इसमें.
batting. He makes batting look really easy. He makes it look like anyone of us could just go and hit it like this, and will hit it out of the stadium. That six he hit Stark that landed on the roof,
Yeah.
it was so effortless. It looked like he was sort of knocking it for a single to square leg.
Also the one which he hit over covers of Stoinis.
Yeah.
Man, like
Oh yes.
क्या shot
Class.
था यार.
Pure class. So I think,
Absolute
players,
class.
even Rohit Sharma delivering at the right time, and even against England in the semi-final,
Mm.
it wasn't the best of the pitches, both the semi-final pitch, if you see.
Yeah.
But to be still scoring, how much did India score in the semis? 160 plus?
170 odd.
170 odd.
Uh,
So even that 50 in
171.
the semi-final,
Mm.
I mean, you're clicking at the right time. And thanks to Swapnil, I personally feel thanks to Swapnil that, Surya Kumar picked up his form at the right time.
Yeah, because there's no doubt over his class. वो जैसे खेलता है, you want him to, like, you expect him to play such knocks
Yeah.
at such crucial times because that's the standard that he had set. To see him play like that and deliver at the right time is truly like a great moment.
Yeah. It's we know what kind of innings he
I
can
think
play,
he
and
he
the
watches.
frustration. Yeah,
I think he
Go on.
watches our podcast. He took it personally.
So, that when we edit this,
Yeah.
these two clips should come. What he said before and after.
Yeah. See, that was always a frustration because we know the kind of innings he can play, and to see that not coming off every single time, and every time there's a big occasion, it's not like he goes out trying to hit, audacious shots. It's always second guessing himself. That's how he gets himself out. But this World Cup, I think, he stepped up in a lot of matches. So props. I think I think that was the story, this World Cup. Like it's not just, of course, the Rohit and Kohli story. that's there. But it's such a perfect culmination to a story, because you see Bumrah getting player of the tournament. Again, there's nothing that you can say about Bumrah that hasn't already been said like thousands of times before. I think the thing about Bumrah is, I saw there's someone tweeted and it's such a beautiful thought, that there was a Gavaskar to compare Sachin Tendulkar with. There is a Sachin Tendulkar to compare Virat Kohli with, but there are no comparisons for Jasprit Bumrah. His greatness is absolutely unparalleled, and there are great bowlers that have played this beautiful game, but you can't pinpoint a single bowler who can win you games single-handedly across format. And I'm not going back to like 70s and 80s, because we haven't seen it. Like, I'm just talking about the generations we have seen, and we have actively heard or seen highlights of. So 90s included.
That to n number of times.
N number of times. Like, and every time you need a crucial wicket, every time you need a breakthrough, you give him the ball and he'll do the job. And we've had that with Sachin, we've had that with Yuvraj Singh, with Dhoni, Gambhir, Virat Kohli, all batsmen that, when you need someone to step up in crucial times, they will step up and deliver for India. All batsmen. We never had a bowler who could change the game and, win it for India in a matter of over or two. Even in the even against Australia in the match where we talked about Rohit Sharma's innings, Travis Head was on song. He was in form. He could have won it for Australia. Even there, Bumrah came on, changed the game. Against Pakistan, we had 8% win probability. Came on, changed the game. This time in finals, when after that Akshar over of 24 runs, South Africa had a probability of 97% win probability. Right? From that point onwards, Hardik Pandya came on, took the class in wicket, but still there was David Miller on strike. So there was still danger. And of course, who's that guy? Who's the tall fellow? What's his name? Jansen, Marco Jansen. He can bat as well. So after that, again, Bumrah came on, and that was a big discussion, right, in the players as well. Like, when is gonna Bumrah bowl? Because we can we can sort of see out other overs, but when does Bumrah come on? And there was a big gamble to still give him 16th and 18th.
Yeah.
Right. And that came off. He gave away 2 runs. I mean, come on.
And he finished the World Cup with an economy of 4.17. Like, seriously, what is this?
Yeah. And it's not like he bowled like 3-4 overs.
If you read the
bowled his
stats,
full quota.
and if you read the stats, you would feel as if it's these are the stats of some World Cup in 1990s.
The ball that you're talking about to Phil Salt, what Bumrah bowled, it was actually that ball spun. That ball spun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who will expect, in the second ball, the ball will be spinning that much?
Yeah.
Of course, you're bowling those cutters and stuff, but that's fun.
Yeah. That will put off spinners to shame. But that ball against Riza Hendricks, as you said, Swapnil, I think that was absolutely unplayable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no batsman would be disappointed getting out to that.
Also, like, I fail to understand that how consistent he is on a length. He's like constantly at the batsman you just can't do anything. Yeah.
Right.
Talking about
Bumrah,
his opening partner Arshdeep, he ended up with as the joint highest wicket taker in the tournament.
Yeah.
For the past 2 tournaments and the Asia Cup, he was the leading wicket taker in all of them for India. And
I think the kind of flack he got earlier, even for his IPL performances, and lots of questions about his inclusion. Yeah. So I think he replied to all of them perfectly.
Yeah, because if you look at Ashdeep, he's not a bowler who has got express pace. Initially, in his initial career days, he used to rely on swing. So I thought once if he doesn't get the swing, how would he adapt? I
Hmm.
always knew that he's a good learner and would do something constantly to improve himself. The way he has improved in such a short span, it's quite
Yeah.
remarkable.
Yeah. And also
And I
the
think
19th over, he only considered 4 runs.
yeah,
He was, and in this World Cup, he was not just relying on the Yorkers. He
Hmm.
was trying the hard lengths, and
Yeah.
that is something very good to see because
Yeah.
Yorkers might disappoint you because
Yeah.
the margin of error is very less. In these kind
Hmm.
of pitches, you just need to bowl at good lengths. The
Yeah.
pitch will do the rest. And he
Absolutely.
was getting the ball to reverse also.
oh, speaking of reverse, there was this controversy, right? How is India getting that much of reverse swing?
That was from last World Cup, no? That
Yeah,
India were
last
getting a new ball
yeah.
that had some chip in it.
No, no, no. This time also.
Acha.
This,
Okay,
Some of
who was this genius? Are they from a neighboring country?
their neighbors.
Yeah, it's probably.
also speaking of Arshdeep, he will be
Hmm.
one of those unsung heroes for this World Cup. Why? We are also forgetting his contribution with the bat against
Pakistan game.
Pakistan's match.
Yeah.
Those two two runs that he took, I think 3 times
Yeah.
they took two, right?
He does six as well.
He had a six.
Yeah, he was like he was backing away like a top order batsman.
Yeah,
If I'm
he took the guard and what like 2 feet across his leg stump.
I think it was Navjot Singh Sidhu who wrote
Yeah.
something about Arshdeep's batting style. It was
Yeah,
some it was
you can trust Sidhu to come up with something.
something he said about his stance, and then in the confidence to 100% is something on
So
those.
yeah.
I'm forgetting it, but it was a typical Sidhu style how he
Yeah.
expressed it. I
Yeah.
think Arshdeep, kudos to Arshdeep as well, and he also
Mhm.
somewhere silenced the critics.
Yeah.
What we were expecting, why is he there in the squad
Mm.
to begin with?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Also Kuldeep
Also,
Yadav. He was brilliant against England, against Australia. I think it was also his sort of redemption story because he was in and out, like never got like a long run. Never explained why he's not part of the squad or the team. So I think it was great to see his contribution as well whenever he was called upon. Finals not so much, but leading up to the final, I think he played a massive role. Axar
yeah.
Patel again. We
Yeah.
were one of those like who weren't sure what his role is going to be, why he's there when you have Jadeja.
will he be playing
But
all the matches?
yeah, and he played all the matches, and the fact that he contributed with the bat that we least expected. I thought
Yeah.
he's gonna be as a bowling option, and Jadeja is more like your number 6, number 7 batsman. The way he contributed with the bat was absolutely phenomenal. I think he has sealed his spot in the white
Yeah.
ball teams, especially since Jadeja also announced his retirement from T20Is after a long and fruitful career. So congratulations to him. But it's a seamless transition. I'm actually happy
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he wasn't sort of at his prime in T20s, even this World Cup as well. But it's great to see a loyal servant of Indian cricket getting his due, and
Yeah.
then he's not leaving a hole behind him. Akshar is there to sort of fill in that gap. So it was absolutely brilliant. This seamless
Also, like
transition.
whole of the Akshar's career has been living under the shadows of Ravindra
Jadeja.
Jadeja because there were so many discussions who is better, Akshar Jadeja, and somehow Jadeja was the one who was slightly ahead of Akshar in the race. And be it his batting in the initial days or his stump to stump bowling,
Hmm.
Jadeja was a better pick. But
Hmm.
now Akshar got the chance to perform. He
Hmm.
improved his batting, and the results are there to see.
Absolutely.
But I
Absolutely.
think the biggest player in this tournament, okay, he hasn't got the man of the tournament or man of the match, has to be Hardik Pandya. I think biggest player on the biggest occasion every time, day in, day out, against all odds. He's the man. He's the man for Indian cricket.
Yeah,
It's
he
fine.
stayed silent throughout the IPL, never said anything. Uh, he smiled and took it all in. Even in the World Cup, he silenced everyone with his performance.
Yeah, his innings against England, his small cameo. He always did his job. He always contributed for the team. And to see a grown man, a strong man like Pandya tear up after the match, like it literally broke me because
Yeah.
he did not at all deserve the hate he was receiving.
Absolutely.
And
I
he
mean, no
he
one
said
deserved
that,
that, man. That was uncalled for.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
the
somewhere I think he just wanted to cry it out. And
Yeah.
it was a perfect occasion when you're winning it. It was all coming out. You could see it.
Yeah.
So much that he had stored
Absolutely.
inside him, so much that he has gone through for the past 3-4 months. Really unfair. That too, that happened in India. All the boos you'll not expect throughout to be getting booed by own franchise, not just franchise, in everywhere he was going,
Hmm.
and
everywhere for nothing.
not just his career that people were talking about. They were dragging his personal life. They were abusing him, and that is where everyone crossed the line.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, targeting your family and when things get personal, if it's just about cricket, if it's constructive criticism, that is fine. But yeah, things with Indian fans, things go overboard.
This
But
went too far. This
yeah,
went too far.
this was a bit too far. And the sad thing was, no one really stepped up to sort of defend him, like publicly, or
Yeah.
to put an end to this. Virat Kohli did, like he urged the crowd to stop booing. But the good thing is, at the end of the day, he did what he had to do. Like he silenced everyone with his bat and his ball. Like when it matters, when he dons that India jersey, the boos stop. There's this beautiful line
Yes.
from this movie, Patiala House. It's just that Akshay Kumar movie where he plays for England, where he hides it from his family that he's playing cricket. Rishi Kapoor is his father, and there's one beautiful line that says, "एक दिन गालियों का शोर तालियों के गुंज में छुप जाएगा." I
Yeah.
think
Exactly, that's what happened.
nothing sort of encompasses this Hardik Pandya redemption story better than this line. And what a tournament, man! Just to sort of sum up everything,
And
Bumrah getting
his
player of the
cold
tournament.
celebration,
Yeah.
cold
Oh yeah,
celebration.
that was not cool.
No, with the
That was also
trophy
gold.
one.
Yeah, that
The
was
trophy
cold
one,
and gold.
gold and gold.
Yeah. But coming back to it, when I was saying what a tournament this has been. Like Bumrah getting player of the tournament, Virat Kohli winning it for India, stepping up in the finals, getting the player of the match. Rohit Sharma stepping up big time, highest scorer for India. Hardik Pandya, Arshdeep, Kuldeep, all of them got their redemption story.
Surya Kumar Yadav.
Surya Kumar Yadav stepping up and delivering at the biggest stage. Rishabh Pant's comeback. He's played his role beautifully. I mean, you could have done a lot more with the bat, but he was still reliable and ever so reliable with the gloves. Dubey stepping up in the final as well. I think those 27 runs that he made were crucial. That probably won't be talked about as much. He got a lot of flack throughout the tournament, but he stepped up when he was needed the most. And Akshar Patel, man, what a tournament he's had. I think his role throughout the tournament will be remembered for years to come, and that tournament will seal his spot in the white ball team for the
Yeah.
next few tournaments. That is guaranteed. And above all, the redemption story of Rahul Dravid, like the ghosts of Barbados, the ghosts of 2007 World Cup, all the hate that he got, and he probably won't care about it. But us fans, he deserved that. That's the least cricket could give to him after decades of service to this beautiful sport. as a
I
player,
had
as a captain, as a mentor, as a coach, everything that he has done and provided for India, this was the least that cricket could give to him. And he never shows emotion. And when Virat Kohli gave the trophy to him, that I literally got goosebumps. Like honestly, like seeing that visual, and also when they were posing for that
I
trophy
I
with the
cried.
trophy, na, he
I
sort
cried
of
after.
lied down. He came and lied down with Hardik
Yeah,
Pandya,
yeah.
and that scream. But what really got me emotional was right after that. Now, if you see that video again, he screams and with his fist up like that, and after that, now he takes that 1 second of sigh of relief, and you see that on his face. I think, and that got me really emotional.
Yeah, I cried after watching that.
Yeah,
When
same,
Dravid lifted the trophy.
same, same.
And then when he was screaming, and then you were, in my head, also this ad was going on. I think it was for one of the ads where he was saying Indra Nagar ka Gunda.
Yeah, that was his Indiranagar ka Gunda moment. But another thing that sort of really got me emotional was the visuals of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. Like faces are red, they had tears in their eyes, and both hugging each other because they knew that it was their last shot. These two
Yeah,
have been
yeah.
battling it out for India for so long. For 15, 16 years. Rohit Sharma has done it for more, like since 2017, it's like 17 years. And since that, Rohit Sharma hasn't won a World Cup since then. Like this was his ninth T20 World Cup. Virat Kohli's sixth T20 World Cup.
Six.
Now after 2007, there were so many failed attempts, and they knew they had to go on a high because their legacy. After everything they've done, like they're two of the greatest white ball players that we have produced, and we will for the longest time. But just that sort of going out on top, like that legacy, I think they had to do it for India. They had to bring it home, and just to see that emotion in him, like Rohit Sharma, like literally lie down on the pitch right after the final ball, it was such a
And
beautiful
speaking of
moment.
Rohit Sharma, ICC
Yeah,
T20 World Cup was that tournament where it all started. His
Yeah.
first innings that he played was against South Africa when he scored a 50. That is, I think that was one of the toughest innings, keeping in mind that South African team was quite strong. Hadn't he scored those 50 runs, India might not have qualified for the next round.
yeah.
Was
Till date, it is one of his most important innings that he played. So,
And
yeah,
also, Rohit Sharma towards the end going towards the pitch, you know,
oh yeah, that was a
face is
Djokovic moment.
yeah.
Yeah,
Eating
yeah.
the grass from the pitch. That's a Djokovic thing. But yeah,
And then having the
beautiful man.
national flag and then, you know,
Wow, yeah.
feeling it. Oh my God.
Just that visual of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma with that Indian flag on their back and holding the trophy. For the last 2 days, I'm constantly just watching highlights and fall off wickets and this and that, like all the videos, all the interviews, everything. I just can't get enough of it.
And when I'm hearing a lot of interviews, when you're seeing on different platforms, nobody is talking ill after the tournament. Everyone is saying this is the most balanced, well-deserved team that won the tournament.
Yeah, yeah,
Of course, there are these sides where you hear, right, when people are saying, oh, India knew where they're playing the semi-final, this, that.
yeah.
Matches are happening in the mornings to cater the Asian audience, so to say. But in terms of playing quality cricket, this has to be the
Yeah.
perfect
Yeah, because at the end of the
team.
day, it was a close game,
Yeah.
right? And it was against a worthy opponent who were also unbeaten. And the kind of players you see there in that lineup, all of them are champion players, right? And they had it, like India lost it at one point. It was South Africa's game to lose. And from there, like snatching a win from the jaws of a defeat, I think that sort of silences all the critics, I guess.
I think someone said that, now for this Indian team, from the bunch of champion players, this is a champion team now.
I mean, it's so incredible to say that after 13 years, India can call itself world champions again. So, on that note, you were listening to Beyond the Wicket. I'm Dipanjan. I've got Naman and Swapnil with me, and we were talking about India's victory in the T20 World Cup 2024. And finally, India are world champions again. We'll come back again next week. Till then, listen to our previous episodes. Drop your favorite moments from this World Cup in the comments and let us know what other topics you would like us to cover, because we have a bit of a gap. Like there's a Zimbabwe tour and everything else happening. But yeah, drop down your thoughts in the comments, and we'll read through everything and we'll reply to each and every one of you, I promise. So yeah, on that note, I'll see you next time. And you are listening to Beyond the Wicket.